Hello YouTube, a YouTube exclusive. Well, we normally run this one on stream, but we thought, let's take it off stream and see how we do. Red Prison. We're calling this the next gen one, but it basically is Mazemind Tomes, Karns, Chandra's, Torch of Defiance, and Heart of Flame. Enjoy, this one is for you. Red Prison, next generation, Heart of Fire, Tome Walkers. Many names for this one, just our next iteration in the Red Prison category. Now, this one we've played numerous times online for our stream specifically, but we're going to take one here just off stream and for YouTube only. Now, this list does not need any introductions. We've actually added an aggressive Rabblemaster and Eidolon package. Heart of Fire's been performing extremely well. We split Chandra and Karn because we have a reasonable amount of ways to filter to find these. And quite honestly, this is probably as Pyro Prison as it gets right now. There's not really much else to say other than let's Blood Moon, lock out, bridge and chalice our opponents, and then win with our top end Planeswalkers, or if needed, win aggressively with our creatures. Match 1 coming up. Let us know if you enjoy this version, and if you'd like to make any changes perhaps in the future, let us know those as well. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. But you're here for matches. Match 1 coming up. Here we are, match 1, looking for our opponent. Happy Friday, Saturday, depending on exactly when this goes up. I think this one's going up Saturday, so happy weekend to you all. I hope you're having a good one here, and I believe the pre-releases have maybe happened for some, maybe not. Let us know what you're enjoying from the pre-releases and what you look forward to from Zendikaar's Rising here. What could go into our list? We found our opponent though. Let's play some Magic. All right, we're on the draw. Turn 1 Seasoned Pyromancer. Not really where we want to be. We will keep this though, plenty of mana, and we may not rush out the Seasoned Pyromancer, but we certainly can get it out sooner rather than later. Of course, as I say this, it could be Neoform, but it looks like it's not. Aether Vial hints at possibly something a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and pass the turn here. A removal spell off Bone Crusher Giant's not a bad thing. This could be Spirits. It's been a while since we've seen Spirits. It could be one though. Now what's interesting is this next gen list, we've actually been dropping a Braid. You'll notice that over the evolution, we always have this kind of 2-drop removal spell. In the past, it's been Braids. We got into that versus just multiple rituals. Now we're kind of moving a little bit to Bone Crusher Giant. Does it work? Maybe, sometimes. We'll see if it comes into play here. My opponent Spreading sees me. That's totally fine. I've got lots of lands, and a single mountain isn't going to ruin us here. Okay, top of the library is another removal spell. I think at this point in the game, I'm pretty happy to just ritual out a Seasoned Pyromancer, getting rid of probably Simian Spirit Guide plus something else. It's probably just going to be a land here. I'm not so concerned about having lands, and I needed no reason to be concerned, clearly. Keeping both Bone Crusher Giants here, and we get rid of a Simian Spirit Guide. We get to make a token here as well. Not very great against a creature strategy. We'll see if it pays off, though, filtering a few deeper. It looks like we're actually against Merfolk, so the Spreading Seas is kind of annoying. A protection for Island Walk. I don't think this one does. Yeah. So Island Walk will be a problem. Bridge is going to be really good here game 1. Game 2 and game 3 will be interesting to see if it will matter. Sometimes they do bring in quite nasty things for us. Adept comes in here. They draw a card. Very good. 2/2 and a 2/1 here. No Island Walk that I see currently, though a Lord effect could change this quickly. And so it does. Master of the Pearl Trident makes things Island Walk, and they start bashing in here. Now, on our turn, we're probably just going to remove Master. We're probably going to just remove the Speaker as well and get things a-going for us. So let's go ahead and do that. We're just going to do this on our turn. No reason to be tricky about it. We don't want them to randomly counter something or do something else like that. We could be going after a Lord effect next, but I'm pretty okay with this. Go ahead and get rid of 2 creatures here. Might even consider attacking here, but we probably are okay to just stay back on defense. 1, 2, 3 lands in, 4th land in hand, and Simius Spirit Guide means I can play anything in our deck. Aether Vial is going to stay on 2. Opponent has 4 cards. Cavernous Soul is played, 3 cards remain. We just have to find a lock. Now we can definitely do that. We could find Blood Moon and Ensnaring Bridge and Karn. Those would be good. Karn would shut off Aether Vial. Blood Moon's going to shut off most of their lands. Many things here. We'll see if they attack. No attack means they have something that does not provide Island Walk, which is good for us. Typically, a couple Lords give Island Walk. Looks like I'm just jamming down a Bone Crusher, possibly. Let's see. Top of the library is just a mountain. We'll go ahead and play a Bone Crusher here. Here's that other side of our removal. Now, a Braid gets artifacts and or a creature. Bone Crusher turns into a creature. Now, it's a little light at the 2 damage slot versus 3 damage slot. But Bone Crusher follow-up it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. I'm assuming Aether Vial and or something that's Flash is going to show up here. Looks like we have a Dismember on our Bone Crusher Giant. That's fine. They take a good amount of damage here. And they basically take 4 for half a card. Keeping in mind, Bone Crusher was probably always just defending at this point. They do know another one is showing up here. We'll see when they get around to that one. Paying more costs here. Are we gonna... Oh, Brazen Borrower picks up the token here. Interesting to have a Brazen Borrower. That is one of their outs to bridge if we do find a bridge as a lock piece here. These adventure cards definitely making themselves known in Modern, Pioneer, and Historic, along with Standard, I believe, right now. So definitely been pushed, and I think pretty well accepted generally. Spreading Seas is another mountain. At this point, they're just doing this so that they can cantrip and try to find answers here, which totally makes sense. Aether Vial on 2. This is going to be a Lord effect with Island Walk probably. Nope. Just taps down. That's fine here. Little 2/2 getting tapped down and in for 2. We're down to 15. 1 card in my opponent's hand. We have 2 2/2s to worry about. Plus, I guess, a Mutavault as well. All right, we find ourselves with a Chandra, Torch of Defiance. I think we can go ahead and slam this and probably just Bone Crusher here. Playing the Bone Crusher as well just gives me a defender, which is super nice at this point. Having 2 defenders here and a Chandra at 5 is a-okay with me. Not to mention that when we block with Seasoned Pyromancer, we'll be able to flash back the tokens. I guess flashback, use the ability. A lot of abilities in the graveyard have been added to Magic over the last year or so. Spreading Seas number 3. My opponent's cantripping like crazy. Uh-oh, Aether Vial on 2. Not a good sign for us. A draw with a Silvergill Adept. Not bad, not bad. Puts another Aether Vial in. So we don't have Mutavault. We have Chandra here at 5. We have 5 mana. No attacks from our opponent. Looking okay so far. Scavenger Grounds, not really what I need. Let's go ahead and go up here for damage or a card. We find nothing. We'll do 1, 2, 3. We'll go ahead and play a Simian Spirit Guide. I'm trying to decide if this is go ahead and attack range now. If I attack, they've got a double block in order to kill. I might, you know what? Let's attack with Bone Crusher. Let's get frisky with the Bone Crusher here. Bone Crusher crashes in for 4, putting them to 8. We have 2 blockers here. If they don't have another way to make these island walk or another creature, we could be looking at a Mutavault booted up and all of them attacking Chandra to kill. That would leave them vulnerable to a swing back kill. So I don't think they'll go after Chandra here. And attacking with the 4/3 is probably smart because if our opponent gets that island walk, defending's just not going to happen. Alright, so our merfolk friends are growing. Good for them. Currently, my opponent can kill Chandra if they boot up the Mutavault. Again, they'll have to swing pretty much out. And I don't know if they want to be doing that. Another Lord effect here. Definitely Blood Moon's pretty good. Mutavault booting up here. Aether Vial onto bring a Lord effect in. Alright. 4, 8, 12, 16. And my opponent, out of nowhere, gets double Lord effects and Island Walk. And closes the door here, dealing 16 to us. Well, couldn't stop it. Our mountains are islands right now. We're down a game against Merfolk. We've got this, though. Sideboard we go. Sideboard we go. Top would have been a Maze Mind. Then a Chandra. Blood Moon. Bridge. So we were close to the bridge. We were close. Okay. Sorcerer's Spyglass can come in here. This can name Aether Vial. Sweltering Suns can come in here as well. I do like the idea of a Chandra. I don't like Chalice in this matchup at all. We can get rid of that. Blood Moon's pretty good. I don't mind Bone Crusher's removal. I don't mind Seasoned Pyromancer's digging power. Chandras are fine. I think I like everything else here. Rabblemaster would not come in this matchup. I do have this bridge here. I can go fetch that off Karn. This is one of those matchups where I could arguably say I need the bridge faster than being able to use a Karn. Let's think about that. If that's the case, we may want to bring Bridge and Torp Orb just in over maybe a Heart of Fire, maybe over one Chandra Torch Defiance, one Karn. It depends. Do we think that we need Bridge faster than we would normally play it? The answer might be yes here. It might be better than having the Karn this time around. Let's go ahead and cut one Chandra Heart, one Karn, and bring Torp Orb and Bridge in. And just know that I can't go fetch it. I need to be getting this in the main hand. So Spyglass and Karn in here. Spyglass is brought in because it's a little bit of a cheaper Karn and can shut off Aether Vial. And if we get a fast Blood Moon, that would be really nice. This is a fast Blood Moon, so we'll go ahead and keep this. We can also ritual out a Seasoned Pyromancer to dig for other answers. So as long as there's no Aether Vial, we'll be in probably pretty good shape. Merfolk, and especially blue-green Merfolk, plays quite a few of these types of cards, which is kind of interesting to see these, you know, dual lands and stuff. I don't think there's a reason to go all the way up here with the Desperate Rituals. A Spell Pierce does get me here, which could be avoided by playing 2 more Desperate Rituals. But I think it's unlikely that my opponent has that, and we'll just play like they don't. I can basically convert these into tokens here and beat down quickly. Smuggler's Copter, not very threatening here. Seasoned Pyromancer making 2 tokens sounds like a fantastic line here. Especially since it'll dig me further, and I do already have another land that I ended up top decking. So, 4 power on the board here. Now we have a removal, we have a land, and we have a bridge. Game 2 is looking very, very, very nice for us. Very nice. No actions for our opponent. Might just slap down the Bone Crusher. We'll do a Karn instead and shut the door here. Should be able to shut the door pretty quickly here. We'll go get Liquid Metal Coating. We'll attack with our 4 damage and we'll pass the turn. We're doing this because now Aether Vial is shut off. Liquid Metal Coating can basically start killing lands. And we're basically asking our opponent, find your island, find your whatever it is you need right now, or you lose the game. And my opponent concedes. So we're going to go to game 3 here against Merfolk. And I don't think I want any changes. I think we're pretty set on what we have here, and I like what we've got going on. Let's just run it straight back. Run it straight back. No changes. Opponent probably doing something similar. All right, we're going to go ahead and keep this. We've got that fast Blood Moon again. We have the Karn for the Aether Vial. We have the Seasoned Pyromancer to dig, and we have a Bone Crusher Giant to remove a threat. The hand looks fantastic. Fantastic. I wonder if Petty Theft Brazen Borrower is their only interaction for Blood Moon. I would doubt that. I expect something else that could bounce this, but maybe it is. Opponent's mulligan to 6 and keeps their 6. We are on the draw, so we have a little bit of probably an advantage here. We'll see if we have an Aether Vial, and we don't. Simian Spirit Guide off the top? That would be just rude. All right, just a natural land. Pass the turn. We're hoping that they play a creature here. If they play a creature, they'll be tapped out, and that would be really good for our Blood Moon. I'm fully expecting, though, maybe a Brazen Borrower, Petty Theft, and just waiting. We've Spreading Seized us. I just don't think this is what they should have kept in against us. We'll test to see if they have Force of Negation, but if they have no Force of Negation here, we'll get this Blood Moon down. Force of Negation would also be one less blue card I've got to deal with later, which probably at this point would be a creature. All right, we got Forced, and a Lord of Atlantis is thrown away. All right. Opponent has the basic island too, 3 cards to beat. Now remember, we can't with Karn we cannot go get a bridge. Speaker here. Chandra. Because they have 1 card left here, I'm actually going to go ahead and attempt a Stomp. Attempting a Stomp here with 1 card in their hand and a random Smuggler's Copter. Yes, they can boot up this Smuggler's Copter, but I'm not so afraid of that. Worst case scenario, I'm playing Seasoned Pyromancer digging for my 4th land. Alright, we have a follow-up Lord of Atlantis here. So we can crew, and this may be something they do. Now this is a 3/3, so Bone Crusher Giant can't really kill this easily. Chandra, down tick on Lord of Atlantis is our next play here. My opponent gets rid of a Merfolk. They like whatever other card they've picked up here, which is interesting. Land? All right, we hit our land drop, which is super important here. Chandra, down tick on Lord of Atlantis seems good. Probably has another creature here. We're just trying to remove creature per creature per creature as we can. Being able to move Chandra, Heart of Fire next and taking out 1 creature would be really nice, especially since this will not die to Smuggler's Copter very easily. Cavern of Souls is being played for my opponent, naming Merfolk. A little surprised to see this played, but maybe they loot it away. I can't imagine they loot this away and not... They keep like a land. I just can't see that, but maybe they did. Maybe they did. Merfolk creature here. We have a Trickster. The 3/3 will come through here at the Chandra. This is fine. This is also flying. So another removal spell. We remove Trickster, land. We remove Trickster with Heart of Fire. I could play Karn here. Not sure what that buys me. I suppose that would stop them from crewing again, right? That looks like what that would do. Well, instead of doing that, let's just play a Chandra Heart of Fire here off our Simian Spirit Guide. Again, one card, so Force of Negation is not a threat here. We'll just 2 the Trickster here and pass the turn. Now, Heart of Fire could dig us towards that bridge. Remember, we have the bridge's main. Karn is sitting here. The other thing that could happen is we could Karn uptick on the Smuggler Copter and get rid of it. Uh-oh. Mutavault, booting up Mutavault here. 2/2, cruise the Smuggler Copter. Remember that if we uptick this, it gives the non-creature artifact, becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to its converted mana cost. Smuggler Copter is a 2 CMC card. Let's see here. Do they want to throw 3 here at Chandra? The Copter is definitely annoying when we don't have the Abrade, but remember this was used on a creature, so we haven't drawn a second Bone Crusher or second potential Abrade here. Smuggler Copter doing the looting and the scooting. Draws a card, discards. I could see in this scenario where they would love to have another creature to play right now. Adept has been thrown to the bin here. A Trickster I think would be good because a Trickster comes in via Flash. Alright, let's start with Karn, the Great Creator. This Mutavault is going to be hard to get to. We'll just have to see if we can work some magic to get that. My opponent Aether Gusts are Chandra. So we'll go ahead and put this on top. I can't put this really on top because of the lands I have. She would be nice to continue to have here. I think I have to bottom because I only have 4 lands. And then here, I'm going to go ahead and take a risk and go down. Smuggler's Copter can't be activated right now, so this is my opportunity to pick up Liquimetal Coating. Liquimetal Coating can shut off Mutavault, which is a problem card because it's harder to get to. Now, if they have a Lord and they just boot this up, Mutavault comes in. But we're going to take this chance here. Boots up Mutavault. It's a 2/2. Just swing, just swing. Whew, alright. Comes after Karn here. Cool. Alright, Karn's down to 1. We find a land. Let's make sure we play this. Liquimetal Coating coming down. See if they have a counter. They do not. Make Mutavault an artifact. Uptick here. I wonder if I'm supposed to go ahead and Season Pyromancer here. I could just Bone Crusher. You know what? Let's put a Bone Crusher down. It takes only 1 point here. And the Sweltering Suns is kind of a nice way to remove something that's maybe a flyer in the future. Keeping in mind that our Liquimetal Coating is going to slowly constrict my opponent on their mana base here. So having blockers is not a bad thing for Karn as well. Let's go ahead and take care of the Cavern of Souls next. Land down, maybe we'll just go ahead and do Season Pyromancer. I like the Sweltering Suns for the future, but we have another one somewhere buried away. Bone Crusher in for 4. Let's start closing the door on our opponent. And we'll pass the turn. Keeping in mind that I now have 3 Ramunat Ruins, and so these will help finish off the game as well. We have blue mana spent here. Opponent is going to try to cast something. Every turn that they get something to cast, means that I'm blowing up a land and they're not getting another land in play, which is super important. If we wanted to at this point, we could probably pick up chalices for 1 and 2 now that I've gotten rid of a Cavern of Souls, but I think we're just going to pick off lands. I don't see a reason to do anything other than that. We've considered putting something into play and opted not to. Hitting just lands for us. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Botanical Sanctum. I could get rid of the island. There's not much of a reason to do this. Getting rid of the island only really stops if we have a Blood Moon. So not gonna worry too much about that. Let's just attack with Bone Crusher Giant and pass the turn. This way, if they have a Trickster here, I have at least 2 things and they can't just tap 1 down. So we almost have all the green mana restricted here. Looks like my opponent's going to attempt to play something, a Spreading Seas. Let's go ahead and use one of these Ramunant Ruins. This way I can F6 through the turn. Spreading Seas is really just cantripping here. Not a good thing for my opponent. Not to mention that another Ramunant Ruins here with the current board state is lethal. We don't even have to boot up the liquid metal coating on a spell here. We just send everything in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And with that, Merfolk Prison locked out. Getting it done. Karn, a little bit of Heart of Fire. Whew. We got one shot game 1, but game 2 and game 3, taking it down. We'll see you in the next match. Match 1 went well. Here we are, match 2, playing the next gen Red Prison, the next iteration of Prison in Modern. Looking good so far. I like our selection, and it's proving to be decent here. It gets us through our cards fast enough and clears just enough creatures when we need it to. Let's find an opponent. Match 2 coming up. We have found an opponent. That wasn't too bad and not too slow. Kind of quick there. Here we go. We'll play first. Always a nice thing to be able to do. Here we go again. All the lands and a Seasoned Pyromancer. I'm going to go ahead and keep this and just hope I'm dodging a Thoughtseize hand. If we run into a Thoughtseize hand, at least we can play everything in our list. But the idea here is to use Seasoned Pyromancer, get rid of maybe a couple lands here, and draw into some more action. My opponent mulligans to 6 here. We'll see if they go any further. Hopefully not. We don't particularly like when that happens. Land, pass the turn. Turn 2 Seasoned Pyromancer is not crazy, but it does mean I'm not drawing all these lands. I wouldn't particularly suggest this start too often. Breeding Pool tapped for our opponent. No real things and threats to show for. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and pass up on Seasoned Pyromancer. We draw Karn. Karn on turn 3 here isn't too bad, especially against just a Breeding Pool. It could be a little bit dicey here. My opponent could have a counter spell, but I think I'm okay with trying to slam a Karn and getting really ahead there. So with this, we'll try it off of the Desperate Ritual here. And Karn, very likely to get countered based on the things that we see. That is okay with us, though, if this happens. Breeding Pool Island. Growth Spiral. All right. I'm going to downtick with Karn and probably just go get this Liquid Metal coating. And we'll see if we can get that to stick next turn. Might be difficult. Not going to worry about getting bridged. This looks like it's Europile. A Blood Moon would be really nice off the top to kind of bait out the threat of a counter spell. At the same time, Liquid Metal Coating would probably be okay to slam there, and then to play the Blood Moon second as well. We'll see which one we get, though. Now, keep in mind, sideboard-wise, we have nothing for graveyards. We've actually slowly realized graveyards aren't being used as much right now in Modern. And also, many times when we start to focus too hard on the graveyard, we end up kind of just missing out on killing our opponent. Euro here off of a snow-covered forest. My opponent does have enough mana here to play things down. Now, we'll see if we get lucky here. Let's go ahead and ritual out. This gives me a little bit more mana. It also allows me to do liquid metal coating here, pay for a random mana leak if that's what my opponent's doing. Allows me to pay for a few other nuance cards. Spell Snare is their choice. Let's go ahead and season Pyromancer then. It's interesting seeing the Spell Snare. We could have went a different route and maybe gotten around that. Is there anything in the sideboard that I particularly want right now? I could go get a Spyglass here. It's probably not a bad thing to just pick up as like an extra card I could play here. So we'll do that. My opponent has 3 cards. We have a Flooded Strand here. We've presented another card that's a 2 CMC spell, so Spell Snare is happy to grab that if they're able to put that into their hand here. They choose not to. They just go get a Temple Garden. So we have 5 cards plus Euro in the bin here. This probably is just a Euro turn. You can make an argument this Karn should have gotten a bridge. It's tough to say, and I think we've got some blockers here. We have 3 bridges main. We can go up once here with the Karn and then go get a bridge to stop this. So it's going to be only the draw here and then the draw next turn as well. Opponent has potentially counter magic up again. Let's go up with Karn first. Let's play a ritual. Let's go with another ritual. Gives me 4 mana, allowing me to play Chandra. Try to play Chandra here. Now Chandra doesn't kill Euro. Force of Negation. We'll go ahead and Spyglass. We could have played Spyglass first, trying to name Misty Rainforest. Looks like based on having the Force of Negation, I don't see my opponent having missed 1 this and 2 firing a force off on the Spyglass. I don't see that as a case here. So this matchup's going to be a bit hard for us where we're at currently. The Euro itself will probably take the game over, unfortunately. We have a Cryptic and a Path. I don't think there's much to name here. I could name like Stoneforge. I could name Misties or Flooded Strands. We'll name a Misty Rainforest as this kind of like card that we can go, okay, you can't get those and you can't utilize those in the future. I don't think this list plays too many Planeswalkers, if I'm honest. Okay. They path our Elemental. This is setting them up for this Cryptic command where they could bounce Elemental token, draw a card, Euro comes in and bashes in Karn. You have to remember that when we do a down tick with Karn, we're not getting there with getting this bridge down due to this Cryptic, unless we top deck a bridge and have 2 threats of it. I will block here to give me at least that chance to go and get that bridge before maybe they bounce with Cryptic command. All right. Feels a little bit awkward here. We're going to go ahead and play bridge. I assume this is getting countered. I'm throwing the bridge away to the Cryptic command because at least Chandra Heart of Fire could deal some damage and dig. Obviously, the Gyro is going to just kill the Chandra, but I don't think we have much of a choice here. I think this Cryptic command is only caring about the bridge that I went and got. Opponent attacks for 6 here. The door is closing on us. There's not a whole lot we can do here. Misty is shut off, though, so that's good. There's a bonus bridge here. Let's go ahead and slam it. There's our back-to-back bridges that we needed to try. Testing the waters to see if my opponent has a counterspell. Now, some would say go ahead and play Chandra here. If I play Chandra, they just don't do anything. Yes, I kill one zombie, and then they hit me for 8, and then they have Euro that's a kill, and they just hold the Cryptic. So we have to try to land that bridge there, I think. Alright, we'll go ahead and concede here. My opponent picks up their Cryptic Command, gets the Cryptic Command with the Euro as well, and they've got plenty of creatures. Doesn't matter what we draw. Okay. This is okay, though. We're just going to switch gears. Eidolons and Rabble Masters are going to come in the Chandra Awakened Inferno. So we're going to try to be really aggressive. We're going to go ahead and cut Chalices because a lot of their deck is on 2 here. So that's 4 easy ones out. I'm actually going to cut the bridge here. If they're playing Euro, we're probably getting close to dying. Euro is difficult for us to kill. Let's just be faster than them. Otherwise, out of all the rest of what remains here, honestly, Heart of Fire is probably our weakest card. I'd rather see a Chandra do 2 and then be closer to an Emblem than a Heart of Fire. Both die to Euro pretty quickly. Karn's in here just to grab some of the sideboard pieces in case we need those. You can make an argument, and we'll go ahead and do that. 1 extra Chandra, 1 less Karn here. Playing bridge against this pile of Bant cards just doesn't work typically. So we'll make that switch there. Key here, be fast. My opponent will have a bunch of Aether Gusts here, which makes it kind of hard for us because our threats, although get underneath the counter spell, at the same time they can just be picked up by the spell. So we'll see if we run into that issue. Let's go game 2 here. Eidolons here, Seasoned Pyromancer and a Desperate Ritual, 4 lands. This is a fine hand. It's relatively aggressive. Turn 2 Eidolon, turn 3 Seasoned Pyromancer, dig, find 1 more threat, and land it. My opponent does try to ramp a bit, so the Eidolon could be beneficial here. Breathe. Alright, opponent's looking at their 7, deciding if they like it or not. And they do start the game with 7. Mountain into play and pass the turn over to our Bant Pile player. Misty Rainforest here and passes back. Alright, we will try to play this Eidolon down. We did see Spell Snares, then they may be playing Spell Snares for Desperate Rituals, which they saw. Basic Island here, and we do have a Spell Snare. Alright, so my opponent's preventing themselves from Blood Moon Locks, and they're also getting rid of our little threats here with a Spell Snare. I think if we would have led with a Desperate Ritual there, my opponent also does the same thing, just getting the Desperate Ritual instead. Alright, Seasoned Pyromancer, let's go digging. Hopefully this will stick. And we're going to go digging for some more spells to cast here on turn 4 and 5. We're going to get rid of a Desperate Ritual here and a Ramunat Ruins. Picking up a token, getting a Karn here. Looks fine. Alright, my opponent doesn't end step a Growth Spiral, which is really nice there. We have a tapped Tome. This is looking okay. We have a Maze Mind on our side. Let's go ahead and attack for 3. I wonder how many counter spells they kept. I think we slam Karn here. If Karn doesn't sit here, we have Maze Mine and Bone Crusher right after. So my opponent had a mana leak. We'll just pass the turn. Looks like we're going to be playing Maze Mine and Bone Crusher, and I may just play Bone Crusher down. Opponent has a Euro. Euro comes in, gains 3 life, puts a land into play, and we have 3 cards here. We also have counter magic for my opponent. Bonus Eidolon. Okay. Attack. If they have another mana leak, purges our Seasoned Pyromancer. This is definitely the turn to get something important down. Let's play Bone Crusher Giant here, and let's play Eidolon. Deck normally doesn't play sweepers, and playing 2 creatures gets around force. It also presents 7 damage on the battlefield. Any cantrips here or other counter spells will do 2. I like our position. Again, Aether Gust and Celestial Purge, specifically Aether Gust, if it missed the counter here, it will be able to bounce these. But it will take 2 damage to bounce either of these because they have either targeted or CMC less than 3. Teferi, Hero of Dominaries played, and my opponent does the upticks, draws the card, and untaps probably Triome and Hallowed Fountain here. This is probably a fine turn to hit the Teferi. I would like to send everything at them, but I think I'm okay with sending everything at Teferi this turn and benefiting a Mazemind Tome next. Play Mazemind Tome. We take a little bit of damage here. That's okay. See if they want to counter this. They do have a counter for this. Okay. They take damage to take that counter. We'll just pass turn. I'm going to hold the mountain just so it makes it look like I have maybe a 4 drop or something else. It might make my opponent play a little more reluctantly here. We're going to play a Euro here. This is going to trigger Eidolon. My opponent's going to gain 1 life. -2, +3. They leave Purge in the yard for a future Snapcaster. Opponent does the ETB draw and maybe plays a land. Does so, Scalding Tarn. Alright, so they have 2 mana open here. I've got a Chandra, though. Interesting. Let's attack with Bone Crusher Giant here. If they block, I might be able to Chandra and tick 2 damage here and kill this. I don't think they're going to block. Oh, they do. Alright. Fingers crossed they don't have a counter spell. Fingers crossed. Did we get through all the counter spells? Ooh. All right, 2 damage to Euro, clearing Euro out of the way. That's a big win for us. That's a big win. We obviously put several resources into killing that, but my opponent gets a couple hits there, and they're just going to kill us. Opponent picks up a Celestial Purge, so they'll take 2 damage to get rid of a Chandra here. Opponent plays a Jace. Could bounce Eidolon here and then shoot Chandra. Chooses to look at the top. They put the card on the bottom. They purge Chandra. We hit another Ramunot Ruins. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and attack them here. We're going to hit them for 3. I have 2 Ramunot Ruins here, which deals another 4. So we're at a virtual 5. It's not great, though. With Fate Seals possible, or bouncing like the token, or even the Eidolon here, I really need some sort of burn off the top to close this one out. As much as we are ahead life-wise, I feel fairly far behind because I am out of gas and my opponent has a relatively strong board here. We'll see, though. We will see. Here's that Aether Gust. The counter that misses but then can bounce something. Choosing to bounce the Eidolon here. I'm going to stick it on top and see if they want to do anything with a Fate Seal and Jace. Maybe they have the counter for this when it wants to come back down. I think this could force the Jace to just do an uptick and remove the Eidolon. So again, we can do up to 4 here. My opponent's now at 7, so they'll be at 3. They decide to draw cards. Now they know what's coming, so they can prep for this too. That's another way to look at this from our opponent's side. Do we feel like we have a shot here? Not so much anymore. Euro gains 3 here. They go back up to 10. They have a land. They do. Flooded Strand. Flooded Strand can go get Mystic Sanctuary. Mystic Sanctuary can go get a Celestial Purge or an Aether Gust for next turn. And they do so. Picking up the Purge here. And Teferi, bounce Elemental here. Bouncing the Elemental means that we get less damage. They draw a card. They're drawing that Purge. So they have Purge, Unknown card. We have them to 7. They'll be at 5 since I'll be playing the Eidolon. Okay. I guess Jace can control the top of the library now. We'd have to hit running cards to get lucky here. Kills Eidolon. Not to mention that they can now get Euro back here because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And that's what they're going to do here. So they do this, draw a card, Jace Fate Seal probably, just to check the top. And then when they get to attack again, that'll be 6 total damage and we'll be just pretty much out of range. So, Europile, taking down Red Prison. This one, this Titan in particular, pretty difficult for us to deal with. Not easy to remove, comes down relatively fast. Blood Moon does make it difficult at times. But there you go. I will be able to stomp them. Let's assume they don't have a counter spell here, but they do. Even playing the card, they just bounce and then they swing, and it's negligible what happens. We're on a 3-turn clock here. My opponent's got all the mana in the world. We're going to go ahead and concede to save us some time and use some time, as my opponent should have us here. We'll take a look at a couple of the draws here, but there you have it, match 2. Ritual, Seasoned Pyromancer. If I play that, I get Simian Spirit Guide, Eidolon, Gemstone, Mountain. My opponent can get around this for the most part. We would get 1 extra token here if they have no counter spell, and then we get to play a Simian Spirit Guide, so we'd have 3 creatures. They could bounce 1, just swing in, and then really just the extra cards here. We needed Rabblemaster sooner rather than later for that matchup. There you go, though. 1 loss in the books. Let's keep it rolling. Next match coming up. Match 1 in the books, match 2 in the books. Playing the Red Prison here for your weekend entertainment, or whenever this goes live, in Modern. And boy, do we like it. We found our opponent. Let's play some more Magic. Let's see if we can get Blood Moon down. Haven't really done too much of that. Not as much as we like to. Let's have a Blood Moon game. Match 3. Here we go. All right, my opponent chooses to play first. Ah, the list. Do we keep 1-landers? No. Do I want a Blood Moon? Yes. What do I do here? Keep the hand and pray. Keeping. My opponent kept 7. We kept 7. We're on the draw. Gives me a slight advantage of hitting something. Nurturing Peatland. Ooh. Ooh. Miss. Pass turn. We don't have to show anything just yet. Soon, though. Soon. Must top deck our land, Simian Spirit Guide, or Desperate Ritual. Keeping in mind that we have 2 of those, we have 28 hits in the library. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, shoot. There's a wall of roots. Uh-oh. Come on, deck. Be kind. All right. I'll accept it. We'll get a Blood Moon down here. I'll accept my ritual. I did say that was one of our hits. Green, black. I can't imagine there's any forces here. And Blood Moon down. Now, my opponent does have a wall of roots, so they have access to green. We'll see how much black matters to my opponent. Overgrown Tomb here. Pretty nice looking mountain. If they use wall of roots too much here, we can shoot it with the Bone Crusher Giants. We miss again. We'll pass the turn. My opponent now has double green. This kind of looks like Yawgmoth combo. Floats 2 green here. And now we're going to chord. Chords for 3. Gets a Geralf's Messenger. Yep. This makes sense. There's a Dryad Arbor. That's a very sweet looking mountain. Strangleroot Geist. I can kill this wall of roots, which is something I'd like to do. We're going to get hit for 5. This is why you don't keep a one-lander. I was baited by the Blood Moon. I wanted it so bad. If they didn't have the wall of roots, though, this game would be vastly, vastly different. 3 mana here. Looks like we might have an evolution. We do off Geralf's Messenger. Undying trigger comes back. Yawgmoth probably the target. Hits me for 2. I think they should be attacking before doing this, so they would have gotten an extra 3 and then I'd be at 6 instead of at 9. That being said, they're going to hit me for 3 anyway. And I think we're just going to concede. You can blame me. Go ahead. You can blame me. Alright, pretty simple ins and outs here. We can bring in, let's do Sweltering Suns here. And I don't mind the idea of a bridge. I actually like the idea of Chandra Awakened Inferno as well. Probably minimal to no chalices here. We'll go and get those if we need to. So those will be just the smallest swaps there. Sweltering Suns is going to be able to clear. Unfortunately, we don't have Anger of the Gods, which would be a little bit better. We're just going to have to make do with the sweeper that we have. We've done Sweltering Suns in the off chance that sometimes we would draw it and not need it. We probably need to swap that back out to an Anger. Let's play first here. Let's go ahead and keep this hand. It is removal, 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 and a Maze Mind Tome. Oh, there's a Blood Moon here too. Looks like a fine hand to be playing with here. The Blood Moon should be relatively powerful in this matchup. They do have triple black cards that they're trying to cast, and so their mana base is relatively aggressive in terms of what they need. Maze Mind Tome here, though, will probably help us find our next card. Next card being a land. Need that land. We kept a 2-lander now. We're only going up. 1, 2. Next one will be 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Da, 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 da. Opponent mulligans to 6. And keeps the 6. Mountain, go ahead, opponent. I have a feeling we might see a Bird of Paradise. I would hit a Bird of Paradise before playing the Maze Mind Tome. Verdant Catacombs, that's a great one for them. We hit our land drop, so we'll just put Maze Mind Tome in. I am going to go ahead and scry at the end of their turn. Verdant Catacombs cracks. Basic Forest. And go ahead. Now, Blood Moon's not going to be as potent as it was in Game 1. It's still going to be potent, though. Strangleroot Geist, we can get rid of that. Let's bottom Simian Spirit Guide. I can do better than that. I almost want just another land at this point. So in for 2. Scry again. Keeping in mind this will gain us some life. Ooh. Actually, I'm going to keep her. Alright. Raymond down. Blood Moon down. Pass turn. We're doing Blood Moon here because it's going to shut off their black. If they don't have another way to get green here too, it stops double green. As I say that, there is the double green. Extra Strangleroot Geist here. Okay, so they pop in here for 4. We're going to scry once more here, looking for land now. I will utilize that. And we're just going to pass the turn here. So when they go to combat here, I can shoot both of these. And that's what I'm going to do. This is interesting. My opponent has opted not to. I'm going to shoot one of these right now. Undying comes back. My opponent's not too concerned about this. I'm not totally surprised. We'll scry again here. This gains me some life. We scry a Seasoned Pyromancer. Let's bottom that. Need something a little bit different than that. All right, so we hit bridge. I think I want to leave myself with 2 Bone Crusher Giants open here, specifically the stomp portion. This has got to be a cord. They didn't attack. They didn't do anything. Dryad Arbor. Now they attack. All right. Let's go ahead and Desperate Ritual here. Bone Crusher Giant. Hitting the Strangleroot Geist that will die due to an Undying counter already on it. And I will shoot this other one here, so if I top deck a land, I could down tick. If I fail to top deck a land, we're playing some Bone Crusher Giants. Alright, they still have Cord mana here. We do hit a land. We hit a land. I think I want to Chandra down tick, but I think I've got to put a Bone Crusher Giant into play. My opponent didn't cord last turn. I don't see them cording this turn. That would surprise me drastically here. Especially after they attacked. So I think we're safe to play the Bone Crusher Giant here. Last turn they held back. And they held back. And so that would be an assumption that they cord. It looks like my opponents decided to pause from cording here until they got to this point. Cord for 3. 3 could get quite a few things. Gets a Rex Sage. This gets rid of our Blood Moon. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, so my opponent has a lot of mana now available to them. Not a whole lot I could do there. Opponent also goes and fetches an Overgrown Tomb. Not respecting a future Blood Moon. Wall of Roots. Wonder how many Rex Sages they have in their list. Might be time to try to get a bridge down. Evolution. Yawgmoth. No attacks. Maybe I just like Chandra downtick on this. This is probably just the turn to do this. It'd be nice to be able to keep this Chandra around, but killing Yawgmoth here is probably an okay thing to be doing. So shoot Yawgmoth and then pass the turn here. They've got a 1/1 and a 3/2 that can attack the Chandra. Might even just kill the Dryad Arbor. Sacrifices Wall of Roots here. Puts a -1/-1 counter on Bone Crusher Giant, so it's smaller. Okay. That seems fine, especially since I have 2 more Bone Crusher Giants coming. Twilight Mire. They're going to attack both at Chandra here. I think I just block the 1/1 here. I'm a little bit afraid that the Strangleroot could get reset here, but losing a Bone Crusher to a random 3/2 versus I can kill the creature and then have 2 blockers seems like an okay plan. Geralf's Messenger here hits me for a pair. And a Young Wolf. Alright, let's go ahead and play Bridge here and pass. This way the Young Wolf's the only thing that gets through. I draw a Chandra Heart of Fire, which is super good here, but we need a 5th land. So let's see if we can find that 5th land and then work on killing some stuff. Scavenging Ooze with 1,000,000 mana available to them. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures. 4 creatures for Skoos to eat. And it looks like Skoos is getting hungry. Eats a Rex Sage. Good thing for us. Now they won't be able to get a Eternal Witness and get it back. Grows to a 4/4 here. All right, we hit our lands. Let's go ahead and play Chandra down. I don't think I need to immediately use the uptick ability here. I think we're good to honestly probably just shoot like Strangleroot Geist here. Start picking off what's in play. This will allow Scavenging Ooze to grow fairly large, which is okay. It's not ideal, but I don't think I have another option right now. I could go face, I suppose. That's something I maybe should be doing instead. Every creature I kill, Scavenging Ooze gets to eat it. They gain life. Bird of Paradise. That'll be an easy one to potentially kill. Arbor Elf is eaten. The other thing is we're stopping Chords in the future by killing all the birds. That being said, it's not stopping it that much because my opponent has so much mana. Alright, they eat just about everything. We got a giant 8/8 ooze. Land. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Let's not worry about a Seasoned Pyromancer here, and let's just go up, trying to find like Karn. We find a new Chandra, so we can play that. And it looks like we just found some lands as well. Let's go up for mana. Nah. Yeah, let's go for mana, because every time I've ticked up for damage, I end up hitting something that I really want. We'll just play a new Bone Crusher and pass turn. We have the draw of the turn. We have 3 from Chandra. We have another one. So we look 5 deep to find Karn every turn. Also, this Chandra with her emblem gives us a win condition. Although it looks like my opponent immediately topped Chord. Nothing I could do about that, though. Chords for 4. Does this combo kill me? Looking for that Karn and Torpor, basically, at this point. Young Wolf makes Bone Crusher smaller. Plays new Young Wolf. Goes Geralf's Messenger here. Drains me. Puts a -1/-1 counter on Young Wolf. Sacrifice Young Wolf, put a -1/-1 counter over here. Yeah. Alright, well we were gonna dig quite a bit the next turn. Just didn't quite get it. Alright, so my opponent combos this out. We'll see if we would have had it in the top 5 cards. We had a lot of drawing power here. But Yawgmoth combo gets us here. Blood Moon doesn't do it. Bridge doesn't quite get there. We were drawing Scavenger Grounds, which actually kind of works here. Mountain, Blood Moon, Maze Mine Tome, Bridge. So that would have been draw, play and play, 1, 2, 3, then the uptick here. If I played this, I get 1 extra draw too, and we would have found Karn. I would have been able to play this off these 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, Karn, downtick, and I would have had, wouldn't have been able to do it that turn, but the following turn I would have gotten my Torpor about. Well, there you have it though. Yawgmoth taking us down. We're in the hole a little bit. Let's bring it back. Red Prison here in Modern. Down on our luck a little bit. Not quite getting the right lock pieces here. That's okay though. Match 4. Let's bring it back. First match good. Match 2, match 3 not so good. Match 4. It's feeling good. Let's lock some people out. Let's Blood Moon. And let's not keep 1-landers. I don't know how often I need to tell myself that. It's the rush. The chance of having that turn 1, turn 2 Blood Moon. We found an opponent. Let's play some Magic. Alright. We lost the dice roll. We did not roll first. Alright. Let's play some Magic. Match 4 here. Red Prison. Iteration, I don't know how many. In Modern. No one-landers, we said. Instant mulligan. Even though, could be interesting. By the way, we lost the dice roll. And my opponent chose to play second. Alright, we're going to keep this and we're going to get out a Chalice on 1. I know I just said about don't do that, but I'm feeling it here. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it based on how my opponent let us play first. Chalice on 1, go ahead. Let's see if we've spotted Rack in their decisions here. Let us see. Kept the one lander, by the way. Said I wouldn't do that. Swamp? Swamp. Make us look smart. Ooh, we're looking kind of smart. I'd like to get a Chalice on 2. Uh-oh. Bloodmoon's not very good. I'm gonna need some lands. I need 2 more lands here so I can get Chandra down. We gotta do this before Liliana shows up. Okay. 2 swamps. Okay. Bone Crusher. Uh-oh. Need that land. Turn 3. What do you got? What do you got? 3rd land. Liliana. All right. Well, we can discard a Blood Moon. I guess I could play Bone Crusher Giant down if I, you know, find a land. I think I ditch, what, Karn next here? Castle Lockthwain. This is definitely Rack, by the way. Karn goes away. There's a couple Raven's Crimes in the yard. Looking for our lands. Looking for lands. Who needs lands? Might be time to get rid of a Chandra now. Alright, Liliana. We going up? Urborg. Hey, we have black mana now. We're Dark Pyro. I don't think I'm casting Chandra anytime soon. Goodbye, Chandra. I wonder how far up this goes. Ooh, land. We're gonna play that. We're gonna pass the turn. If they split lands and Chalice, we're gonna play with the Chalice. I fear no Liliana here. Oh, there's Mutavault. All right, Bone Crusher Giants kill Mutavault. That's good. We're gonna get rid of this Desperate Ritual, I think. Goodbye, Desperate Ritual. Okay. We could stomp Liliana. That is something we could do as well. Pass the turn. Pass the turn. Well, we're on 2 lands, turn 7. It's looking pretty good. Pretty good. All right. We're going to float some mana here because I am more than likely keeping this Chalice. We'll sacrifice the 2 lands here. That's right, opponent. That's right. Oh, and they activate the Mutavault here. So the question is, do I want to kill the Mutavault or do I want to kill Liliana here? I think killing the Mutavault is probably smarter. But I could kill the Mutavault in the future. I wonder if they have another Liliana. That's what I'm scared about. Let's do it. Liliana down. We're going to draw 2 lands. I got it. I got it. Don't worry. Just a Mutavault to beat. Down to 17. Don't have another Liliana, please. Oh, yeah, you can have a bridge. We love bridge. Bridge is welcome in our family. Bridge has been played. All right. Do hit a gemstone caverns. It's time to flood. Let's go. Attempts to rack into the chalice. Why? I don't know. Boots up Mutavault and gets in for another 2, down to 15. We probably have about 6, 7 turns to find this land. Yeah, we found it. All right. Chalice on 1, going the distance. Turn 9. Boot up that Mutavault again. Go for it. You go for it, opponent. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You get in there. Attack me. Got him. Can't even Fatal Push to counter my Stomp. Whew. All right, now. We just need to find that land. Get that Bone Crusher down. Ooh, okay. Step 1, Bone Crusher's down. This is the kind of game that encourages us to keep a 1-lander. Because sometimes we get there. Castle Lochthwain activated, down to 12. This makes sense to me. Liliana? Plays a Liliana. This would be a perfect... Ooh, each player discards a card? Alright, Chalice, goodbye. Alright, they're under the bridge here. This would be the land turn. Oh, yes, we got there. Alright. Desperate Ritual here. Play Karn, the Great Creator. We go up this turn. I'm not going to even worry about their Ensnaring Bridge. We go up. If I went down, we'd lose this to the Liliana here. Next turn will be a down. Probably Spyglass is the safest thing to shut off the Liliana, so I don't have to use Liquid Metal Coating. We're almost there. We're almost there. Got to lock them all the way out. My opponent's discarding a Thoughtseize now. Smallpox. Well, this blows up a land. Lose my creature. This hurts. This hurts. Okay. Luckily, I hit a land. We'll go down here. I'm going to say yes. Spyglass. Spyglass naming Liliana of the Veil. Look at that Fatal Push. Okay. Next. Now I can draw cards. Whew. Alright, Liquid Metal Coating's next because I need to kill all their lands so that I can get under the bridge. So down tick again here. Yes. Liquid Metal Coating. Not going to worry too much about this activation this coming turn. And just F6 for some good value. We know the card in their hand's a Fatal Push. Are we done, opponent? Have we been locked out fully? Oh, yes. Those are the games we play for. Oh, yes. All right. So, for this matchup, it's Eidolon and Rabble-Masters. Be fast, fast, fast. Chalice is really good here. Blood Moon does almost nothing. Out goes the Blood Moon. Bridge can come out in this matchup. Bridge doesn't do a whole lot. Gotta cut one more. It might be just like Chandra Heart of Fire. Honestly, we might just cut the whole thing of Chandra Heart of Fire. I say that because when you're looking at it, I don't want to use the Chandra Up ability to exile cards. We're going to keep her in there because I don't think I want the Awakened Inferno. That one's a little too high up in the sky there. But Heart of Fire, yeah. We'll probably just do the 2 damage a turn. All right, game 2 here. We paid attention to who played first, even though we lost the dice roll. And then we made a judgment, and it paid off. Game 2. Game 2. Game 2. Game 2. They have chosen not to play first. We're going to go ahead and keep this hand because it is a Chalice on 1 into an Eidolon into a Rabblemaster. It can't get much better than this against Rack. Chalice 1, go opponent. This game should end probably by turn 5 or 6. It's got to be rough. Getting chaliced twice in a row. Got to be rough. Ooh. Alright. And then after we get the Rabblemaster down, we can slap down another Chalice on 1. Alright, Eidolon down, Chalice on 1 down. Ooh, we've got a Mutavault. Ratchet Bomb. Oh my gosh, they put Ratchet Bomb up to 1. What are you doing? What are you doing, opponent? It's supposed to be on 0. Oh no. Oh no. Have they goofed up? By the way, the Mutavault's kind of a nice one for them. Having the Mutavault where it's at stops my Rabblemaster from coming through. I'm probably just going to send goblins in from here on out. So seeing a Ratchet Bomb, I probably just want to throw Chalice on 2 here. Have a Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2. I don't care that this is on 1. Ooh, an extra Mutavault. That's pretty spicy. 2 Mutavaults. We've messed up, I think, with the Ratchet Bomb. We play Liliana here, which means everything's getting in this coming turn. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage to go through. 7 if they down tick. I think I could almost like ignore Liliana here. Probably can't because Ratchet Bomb's going to go up to 2. Each player discards. I'm going to discard a Gemstone Cavern. I'd like to keep the land, but I don't think it's going to be necessary here. We can also kill this pretty easily. Which I think is what I want to do here. Even though we could do a lot of damage, I think splitting our interest here is not a bad idea. I actually don't mind putting a Chalice on 2 here either, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. This does stop us from stomps in the future, but it stops a future Ratchet Bomb, which I'm a bit worried about. I think we can beat a pair of Mutavaults here. Alright, Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2, Eidolon up there, Rabblemaster, and Goblin tokens. Your move, opponent. Your move. And I wonder if they're realizing now that the Ratchet Bomb is on the wrong number of counters here, and they've goofed up. At this point, it's almost just worth it to go up to 2 and 3 and try to kill Rabblemaster or Eidolon. That being said, we notice that they give us the play. We take down Rack. Chalice on 1, taking it down. Match 4 in the books, bringing us to an even 2 and 2. Can we get that 3-2 for the league and continue on our winning streak? We'll see you in the next one. Match 5, final match, currently 2-2 overall, playing Red Prison here in Modern. And boy, has it been a roller coaster, but let's see if we can finish on a high here and get the W. Now, things that have been playing really well for us so far is definitely Chalice. Blood Moon has been impactful, although not necessarily game-breaking, and Karn's been doing just fine. So, let's see what we can do here. Now, here we go again. One-landers all night long. We lost. They choose to play first, so we're going to go ahead and mulligan. All right, here we go. We can keep this. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of... Let's get rid of a Maze Mine Tome here. Gemstone. Land. Let's go for that turn 1 Chandra. Don't thought seize me, opponent. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, steam vents. Oh, street wraith. What? What is this? Oh my gosh, we're about to get wrecked. Burning Inquiry spins the wheel. We got rid of Desperate Ritual and Chandra, and Simeon Spirit Guide ended with Chandra. We got an Arclight Phoenix, a Gut Shot, a Magus of the Bazaar. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Alright, so we go ahead and ritual out our Chandra here. Down tick, kill Hollow One, pass turn. We have to do this. Getting beaten down by a Hollow One is way too painful. They could get a quick Arclight Phoenix back here and get to attack in. They could gut shot us. They could bolt Chandra for all I care. At this point, we just needed to remove that and try to find us a bridge. They lava dart us with a steam vents. They did shock the steam vents in. I wonder if they're going to go ahead and use that lava dart and have an additional spell here to get Arclight Phoenix back. Serum Visions here, Scries, and Draws. Definitely need bridge. Both cards went to the top. Ungood for us. Anyway, after the Burning Inquiry, spinning the wheel, still getting Chandra on 2, we get a bridge here and get to play that down. Good luck, opponents. You're at 13. Can you beat a bridge? Now, we don't have much for the graveyard, unfortunately, and this does look like a matchup that could use a little bit of graveyard love. This is also a matchup where I wish I had my Abrades over Bone Crusher Giants. Just saying. This doesn't feel very typical, though. My opponent is contemplating this bridge, and it's won us the game. Let's go to game 2. Eidolons are tempting here. Rabble Masters are tempting. Sweltering Suns are tempting. What's interesting is at the very beginning we made a comment about not having Abrades in our deck tech. Ouch. So my opponent will probably have Abrades here. We're going to treat this like Hollow One. So in order to beat Hollow One, we try to get Bridge out relatively quick. We try to get a Chalice on 2, not on 1, and we try to win from there. Eidolons and Rabble Masters could be just blockers. They're not bad. I don't think I want to try that though. This matchup can still play Blood Moon. Basically what I'm saying is I'm probably not changing a thing. Let's go back. Chalice on 2 is the big winning line here, and Bridge in play. Burning Inquiry is a frustrating card. My opponent will be playing probably 4 bolts. Let's play some Magic. I do not like this one at all. We have a 1 land again. We're going to mulligan this. Alright, we have a few lands here. We'll keep this. I'm going to send a Seasoned Pyromancer back because I have a duplicate of that. And we'll see if this can get us somewhere. Steam Vents tapped for my opponent. No turn 1 crazy Burning Inquiries. I like that. Gonna go ahead and pass. Got this nice Maze Mind Tome that we're probably gonna play here on turn 2. This is interesting. So they play a Magus of the Bazaar. Oh man, I can shut them off blue here. Draw 2 cards and discard 3 cards. They get a Hollow One by doing this pretty easily. We probably can wait on the Blood Moon here. I probably need to just kill this. I want to slam Blood Moon because it shuts them off blue here, but the whole draw 2 and then discard 3 cards just seems like crazy. Oh no, they still just do it anyway. They still just like, I got this. I got this. All right, we'll attempt to get a Blood Moon here. Shut them off blue. Maybe I can find another removal spell for the Magus here. Street Wraith draws a card. Manamorphose makes red red. Apparently Blood Moon's not that scary for them. Manamorphose followed up here. That's 3 spells. Makes blue red. We're cantripping like crazy. Now we're going to draw 2, then discard 3. So here comes probably Phoenixes. This is pretty wild. This This is a wild list here. Magus, Spell Pierce, Burning Inquiry. Hollow One hits the bin. The bin. That's very much in the battlefield. Okay, so we have a Hollow One to beat. I am going to do something a little bit unconventional for me. I'm going to go ahead and Desperate Ritual out a Bone Crusher Giant. That way I have a 4/3. This is something we didn't have in the old Hollow One days. I'm also going to follow this up with a Maze Mind Tome and do some nice scrying. I like this line because the Maze Mind Tome undoes one turn with the Hollow One. If I'm playing Seasoned Pyromancer, yes, I have a few chump blockers, but it's not really getting me anywhere. So let's see if this kind of plays into some way to block the Hollow One here. That's the hope, at least. Definitely got to find that Chalice. Throw it on 2. Got to find that bridge. Throw it on 3. You don't throw a bridge on 3. It costs 3. Alright, my opponent ditches 2 gut shots and finds their island. They abrade the Maze Mind Tome. I don't think they should be abrading that. We're going to put a Chalice up there. So they're out of cards here. Because they're out of cards, I'm going to go ahead and do another Maze Mind Tome. We're actually going to just take a natural draw here as well. And now I have a Chalice that I can throw on 1 and 2. This looks pretty good. I can probably take my time to put these on 1 and 2. Serum Visions for my opponent, draws a card, and scries. I can take just a natural draw. I'm not going to stop on my upkeep. I'm probably putting Chalice on 1, then Chalice on 2. This way I don't get burned out some way, and then the Abrade is stopped, and then we can worry about Seasoned Pyromancer. Just got to find a bridge at some point. We're looking pretty good. 1 on top, 1 on bottom. Also, a Chalice on 1 probably protects Bone Crusher. Let's do Maze Mind Tome here to draw. Let's throw a Chalice on 1. And pass the turn. Our Bone Crusher is doing work. He's big. He's scary. He's gonna stop a Hollow One. Draw 2 cards and discard 3 cards. We have a Spell Pierce, Ox, and Ox. So it looks like we wanted the Ox in the yard. Blue and red mana spent here. Abrades the Bone Crusher Giants. All right. Pretty good. So that's 2 Abrades down here. And they go ahead and do the Ox next to draw cards. Probably putting this on 2 after using Desperate Ritual. We need to find that bridge soon. I'm going to stop on my turn for this scry here. I think the scry is going to be needed. Burning Inquiry doesn't do anything, so we have a Chalice on 1. Hits for 4. I'm at 16. Let's see if we can find a bridge. There's a Bone Crusher Giant. I think I'm gonna bottom him. We're looking for bridge. Let's stay focused. Stay focused. All right, we can throw a Chalice down. I don't make any blockers here with the Seasoned Pyromancer, but I continue to dig deeper. Seasoned Pyromancer is now down. We find a Desperate Ritual and a Mountain. We are a bridge away from locking this game out. Come on, deck. We can do this. I wonder if I take the draw versus scrying here. Maybe I just take the scry. Keeping in mind that Seasoned Pyromancer here can chump block for this turn and could theoretically make a few more tokens in the future. My opponent's playing spells here, so they get this Arclight Phoenix back. We have to find our bridge here. Bridges are only out. We've dug fairly deep here. I probably just take a scry, because if I hit Karn, I can down tick and play bridge. I have 7 mana. I'm hitting hit for 4, 8, no 7. So I'll be at 9 here at the end of this turn, because I'm gonna block here. If we completely miss, then I do get to Season Pyromancer tokens back, and I gain 4 life. Maze Mine Tome. Come on, find that bridge. And it looks like they didn't have another spell for Arclight Phoenix. Alright, down to 12. Upkeep. Scry. Undo the Hollow One's attack. Finds. Land. Bottom. Draw. Ooh. Ooh. I can't be baited into this, right? 5, 10. Yeah. I've got a Season Pyromancer again here. If these were X2s, like the 4-2 without the counter, we could talk. Getting rid of Magus of Bazaar would be nice, but we're just gonna have to accept that some things are just not gonna happen for us. If I draw another Season Pyromancer, having the 2 spells here isn't the worst thing. Hardcast Arclight Phoenix. Attack step. Hits with everything. We're going to be blocking 10 of this. We'll take 7. Come on, bridge. One time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I hit a land, I could play Chandra and look for the bridge. So land bridge, land bridge. Another hollow one. Here we go. Upkeep. Draw. Alright, I can still Chandra here. If I find exactly land and bridge here. Looking for land and bridge. Oh. Neither. Neither. Alright. Let's go to game 3. Nothing's going to change, I don't think. Nothing's going to change, right? Yeah. I like having the Karns in here to find that extra bridge. Yep. We're just going to send it back. Send it back. Game 3, match 5. To go positive 3-2. We need a win. We're on the play. Let's play first. We're going to keep this. We have Chalice on 1. We have a potential Chalice on 2 after. And then we have Bridge. This is what we want to do. Land to go. Do not Burning Inquiry me, opponent. Do not do it. One time. Leave me alone. Please just be a Serum Visions. Please. Oh, okay. We're good. Serum Visions. All right. We got some time here. Nothing crazy. Nothing ruining our day. We hit a land too. All right. Chalice is on 1. Ritual spell here to get a Chalice on 2. That'd be sweet. Let's go. Spire Bluff Canal. 2 blue. We can shoot that if I miss my land. Oh. But we got there. We got there. Yeah, I put this on 2. I don't think they have an out as soon as I slam this bridge. I hesitated briefly there because I was like, well, Magus is really going to dig them, but no. Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2. Unless my opponent's going a little bit old school and has a shattering spree, this should be enough. They ditched some lands here. They're looking for ways to beat me. Hallowed One into play. Hallowed One into play. We're going to slam that bridge. There you go, opponent. This is what you got to beat. Can you? Good old Hollow One days. I like this. This is like a throwback. This is a hard lock against the old Hollow One. Is it a hard lock against my opponent? The great thing is I have no idea because my opponent's playing a deck that doesn't really exist anymore. Digging, Fiery Islet, Steam events, and we have the concession. It is a hard lock. My opponent is done. We get there. 3-2 overall, playing Red Prison, and a little throwback to 2018, February time, where we ran Glorybringer lists. We'll see you in the conclusion here of Red Prison. 3-2 overall, playing the Red Prison with Heart of Fire, Bone Crusher, Maze Mind Tome, Seasoned Pyromancer, Karn, Chandra, Blood Moon, Bridge, Chalice. I'm never disappointed. There are times where we can't go sweet 5-0s, but in the long run, you'll notice we're doing 3-2s, 4-1s, 5-0s. We hit occasionally a 2-3, but it's usually the less often one. And why is that? It has to come down to the lock pieces. Last match there, you saw Chalice was doing well. The first match with the first or second with the Merfolk folks, Blood Moon was doing fine. Plenty of times Bridge was stopping opponents from attacking us. Definitely things here that were working. And really even some of those ETB creature matchups, we have the lock piece ready. Just gotta find it. So if you can find your pieces, you can lock out your opponents. Red Prison, definitely some interesting cards from Zendikar. I don't know much will make it into this version of a build, but as always with brand new sets, there's that opportunity for us to go ahead and add some things or adjust. So we'll be on the lookout for items as they come available on Magic Online. As always, definitely send in your thoughts. Any creative approaches, always happy to hear about them. Leave them in the comments below. That's going to do it. As always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. We'll see you in the next matches. Take care and be safe out there in your pre-release and your releases. Till next time.